Alright, I got a few examples for this section. Multiplying of fractions. Again, multiplication straight across. 3 times 4 is 12. 7 times 5 is 35. If you can simplify, do so. I didn't have any I could simplify here. So straight across. Alright, your turn. Pause, go into class kick, and you get to work a couple. Now, I purposely left the answers in my example here, so if you've already got it right, you're good to go. You don't have to listen to the whole spiel. Otherwise, I'll go ahead and work this one for you real quick here, or these 4, I should say. So here, starting with A, again, multiplying straight across, right? 2 times 1 is 2. 5 times 3 is 15. That does not reduce. Again, no common factors there. Second one, we already know that negative times a positive is negative, so I'm going to put the negative answer down here. And again, I'm going to reduce before I multiply. That's highly recommended. So 6 and 2, right, have a 2 in common, so 3 and 1. Now we can multiply straight across. 5 times 1 is 5. 3 times 3 is 9. Negative 5 ninths. So I didn't have to reduce because I sort of pre-reduced, if you think about it that way. C, let's take a look. Anything can reduce in advance there? 7 and 9, no. 8 and 5, no. So we're just going to multiply straight across there. 7 times 5 is 35. 8 times 9 is 72. That does not reduce, so we're done there. And then D, negative times a negative is positive, right? So we don't have to worry about taking care of that. And nothing to cross cancel. So 1 times 3 is 3. 4 times 8 is 32. So there's your answer for D. All right, continue watching for another example from me. Simplifying before multiplying. So we talked about that in the last one anyway, right? Noticing here, again, if you've got stuff you can cross-cancel. They do a nice job here. You can see it's better than my handwriting. The 9s cross-cancel to 1 and 1, because you take out a 9, right? Divide out a 9. 15 and 5 have a 5 in common, so left with 3 and a negative 1. Then you can multiply just straight across. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. 3 times 1 is 3, so that works out kind of nice. We can do some of the same thing. I'm just going to do the example here with the variables anyway. We can do some of the same thing here. The 4 and the 8 can cross-cancel, right? By a 4, so 1 and 2. 2 times y is just 2y. 1 times 11 is just 11, so no big deal there. So 2y over 11 is the answer. Alrighty, so pause here. Go into class kick, and you work a couple. Once again, I've left the answers in here for you just for the fun of it, so that you can keep track of what's going on. But so anyway, let's. So if you had it right, you can just kind of move forward on this part. Find each product, simplify if possible. And again, I'm going to start out with this one. This has a 3 in common, so 1 and 2. So we go ahead and multiply straight across. 2 times 2 is 4. 1 times 7 is 7. 4 sevenths. Here, by the way, thinking the answer is going to be negative in advance because it's a negative times a positive, so put that down so you don't forget it. We can cross-cancel and get rid of some 5s here. 25 divided by 5 is 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1, so there's those. And 15 and 21 have 3s in common, right? So we get a 5 down here and a 7 up here. So multiplying straight across, 1 times 7 is 7. And 5 times 5 is 25, so negative 7 25ths. Again, notice I wrote that negative down first so that I didn't forget it. Alrighty, on C, having some fun now. Now there's a 2x and a 4. Now you can't add or subtract this, but you can cross-cancel because it's really the same as multiplication division. So we can take out a 2 here and get a 1, a 2 here and get a 2. We can take out a 3 here and get a 3, and a 3 here and get a 1. So there's my 4 numbers now. Don't forget the x here. So 1x times 1 is just x. If you write the 1, it doesn't really matter. 3 times 2 is 6. So x over 6. Go ahead and continue watching for another example from me. Alright, now here's where the fun really happens. Multiplying mixed numbers. We said the rule was to make them improper and then go ahead and multiply. So the area of Golden Gate Park in San Francisco can be estimated using a rectangle. 3 2/5 miles long, 1/2 mile wide. What is the approximate area of Golden Gate? So you're going to multiply 3 2/5 and 1/2. Notice here the 3 2/5 gets made improper. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 2 is 17, still over 5. Just bring down that 1/2. 17 times 1 is 17, 5 times 2 is 10. Now, normally I'd say you're good, you're done. But if it's a quantity, like something you're measuring, right? So miles, 1 7/10, so make it improper again. 1 7/10, don't forget to label that miles. Pause, head into class kick. There's a couple there for you. So once again, I've kept the answers in here, so if you've got them right, you can move on with your life. Here, and I'll give you the improper answer as well. As long as it's reduced, we're good with that. So let's get started. Up here, we've got 3 times 4 is 12, plus 3 is 15, so 15 fourths, and the 2/5 just comes down. I'm going to reduce first, so 3 and 1 and 2 and 1. So 3 times 1 is 3, 2 times 1 is 2, so 3/2 is the improper fraction answer there, and it is reduced, so you're good to go. On B, leaving the 2/3 alone, let's see, 1 times 7 is 7, plus 2 is 9/7. We're going to do some cross-canceling here. The 3 becomes a 1, the 9 becomes a 3. So let's see, 3 times 2 is 6 on the top, 1 times 7 is 7 on the bottom. And then C, let's see, we're going to have negative times a positive, so we're going to have a negative answer. I'm going to put that down here so I don't forget it, because I'm serious, you don't want to forget that stuff. So here we're going to make it improper. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 5 is 17, 6, and again that's negative. 1 times 5 is 5, plus 3 is 8, so 8/5. A little bit of cross-canceling here. I can take out a 2 from these guys, so giving us a 3 and a 4. And 17 times 4 is 68. 3 times 5 is 15, and again, that's a negative answer. And that is the improper version. Otherwise, if you want to make it a proper fraction, negative 4 and 8/15. There you go. There's those examples. Keep watching for more examples from me. Alrighty, dividing fractions. You know you've been waiting for it. You're excited, right? Again, the rule, leave the first number alone, flip over the second number. That's as long as everything is made improper first, right? So leave the first alone, flip over the second, and then just multiply. So now here I would have cross-canceled first, right, like they did. So I end up with 1 times 5, 9 times 1, giving us 5/9. So there you go on that example. I'm going to go ahead and include the one with the variables. I mean, this is algebra stuff anyway, so why not? The rules are exactly the same. And I'm going to work those here on the sides if you just want to watch. We have x over 3, and then I'm going to turn to multiplication and turn it into 4 over x. Now, x's can cancel just like numbers. There's 1 and 1, they're gone. So this becomes a 1, this becomes a 1. 1 times 4 is 4. 3 times 1 is 3, so 4/3, or 1 1/3 if you prefer, but 4/3 is good for algebra. Pause, head into class kick. You've got a couple more to take care of. I'll be watching. Again, I've already included the answers here for you. I'll run through those real quick, though, no worries. Negative 1/4, turn to multiplication, flip it over, 2 over 1. If you want to cross-cancel in advance, you can. 2 and a 1. So I get a negative, don't forget that negative, 1 over 2, so negative 1/2. B, you know what, I'm going to move this other stuff out of the way just a sec here so I've got a little more room to write with. That's better. Alrighty, B, we have, let's see here, leave the first number alone, so 5a over 8 times 3 over 2. And so again, flipping over that second number. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and multiply straight across. So we're going to get 5a times 3 is 15a. 8 times 2 is 16. Can't reduce that. Leave it just like it is. And C. Same thing's going to happen here. 3b, so leaving that first one alone, times 7 over 6, flipping it over. Now this one you can see right away here. We can cross-cancel, get a 1 and a 1. And here, 3 and a 6 become a 1 and a 2. Don't lose that B. So multiply straight across. B times 1 is just B. 1 times 2 is 2. B over 2 is your answer there. And that's it. You have some homework now. Go ahead and grab that and get to it.